Greetings. My name is Diane King, and I'm the author of this book, which is entitled Child of Sand and Water. I wrote this book because in the early 2000s I met young boys who had escaped from a very difficult situation in Africa, and they became known as the Lost Boys.
Back in 1980s and 1990s, civil war broke out in Sudan. About 17 to 20,000 children ran away, and we were one of them.
When we left home, we were first taken to school in refugee camp in Kenya. And even though our fingers were the pencil, because there were not enough pencils, and the dirt with the paper, I thought I was so fortunate to have a chance to go to school.
In 1998, the government of the United States plus United Nations came together and said, we will take you to America. Because they knew we were suffered for a long time. We didn't know where our parents were, and we didn't know about the future. And we said that was good.
After they were educated here in the United States, they had a very strong desire to return the favor and give back to their own country.
12 years ago, I was fortunate to have come to the United States and introduced to good education in this country. While I was going to schools, my mind was always about South Sudan. In 2007, Mathan and I decided to go back to Manabun village, South Sudan. And even though we lost some of our family members, we were fortunate to meet some of them. I met my mother, my brothers, and a sister. Mathan met his dad and his brothers and sisters.
Things had settled down in South Sudan by that time, and they decided that they would build wells so that children would not have to walk all day to carry water. And the other one decided to build the schools.
The reaction is always great because for the first time to have a well there and see the water is flashing up right from the ground, they don't even expect the water is there. The excitement is on everyone's face, and that make me feel happy about that, to see that we are helping them and be able to change their lives.
After we built 4 classrooms, children were very happy. There was about 340 children. Now we have 805 children. These children walk 5 miles, and even a disabled girl, she was able to kneel to school.
You will learn more about them in this book, so I will read to you from Child of Sand and Water. Something made Salva shiver on this hot day. His mother was coming in early from the fields. His goat was butting him in the leg. Salva, his mother said, "Give me your hand. We can walk together to greet your sister. She will be coming soon with water for the village and will be very tired."
The goat can stay here. You have taken good care of her today.
Suddenly, Salva's mother was crying. She hugged him and said, "While we wait for your sister, I must tell you something sad. Papa heard that rebels are coming from the north. They are taking all boys away from our villages." Villages are called bomas in parts of Africa. "Your uncle will help you and the other boys from our boma escape to Ethiopia, where you will be safe until the trouble is over. The rest of the family will run in a different direction. You must be big and brave. Remember always how much we love you." "How long will I be away from my home?" Salva moaned. His mother hung her head and said, "Maybe a very, very long time." In all of his 11 years, he had never been so frightened. He could not imagine living without his family. But from the sound in his mother's voice, he knew he must leave right away. "We will think about you and love you every day," his mother reminded him again. Salva and thousands of boys of all ages ran from their enemies in southern Sudan. They walked hundreds of miles on their own. In the desert, they had almost no food or water. They ate roots and grasses and hunted animals. Their journey was scary and difficult. Throughout the world, they became known as the Lost Boys. "We will keep from getting too sad by singing," said Salva. He led them in a marching song. "One day we will see our homes again. Water and food will be plenty then." A small boy used 2 sticks to beat the rhythm. They had new energy and could be on their way once more. Every night Salva looked at the stars. They made him miss his family. His heart hurt. He remembered that his sister walked 8 hours every day to fetch water. He said aloud to the stars, "I promise I will find water for my boma if one day I can go home." One night a strange thing happened while he was gazing at the stars. He was lying very still. Slowly his mind connected the stars like making a picture out of dots. It looked a bit like his sister. Then his feet tingled and shook. A new song came into his head. "My hands start to wiggle and my feet start to jiggle and I dance, dance, dance like a squiggle." As he hopped around, the pain in his heart lifted. His song made him think there was hope. And suddenly, with the other lost boys beside him, he was dancing his way to Ethiopia. "Good night, Lala Salama," he whispered to his sister in the sky. In Ethiopia, Peñido became the boys' safe new home. "This is only a refugee camp, not our boma," Salva said to his friend, "but we are clean. We have food, and best of all, we go to school." He gave thanks and hugged his books. Salva wanted to learn many things. He practiced his English with anyone who would listen. "I am Salva." He said each word carefully. "Who are you?" "Now I have chances I never had before," he thought. "I will work hard. I will be able to help my country when the fighting is over. Maybe I will even find my family." He thought of them every day. Years passed. Sponsors in America and Europe helped the Lost Boys find new homes. Salva waited his turn. "Here's my name. I'm going to the United States. Where's the map?" Salva had never seen a plane before. As the plane took off, he wondered what else would be new in America. Will I eat mangoes and bananas? Will I ever see a giraffe again? Will I ever know whether my parents are alive? Where are my sisters and brothers? Now he was really alone. Many friends were left behind. His new home was full of surprises. A church sponsored him. He was going to live in an apartment with other lost boys. Before they could live alone, good people from the church showed them how to cook on a stove. Salva learned how to use a washing machine at the laundromat. The washer rocked back and forth. While he watched it, he felt a tingling. Suddenly he remembered something from long ago, his song of hope. "My hands start to wiggle and my feet start to jiggle, and I dance, dance, dance like a squiggle." At least one of my dreams came true, he thought. Finally I have a chance for a good future. Salva worked hard. He had 3 jobs. He got his high school diploma and then went to college. He was happy and proud. On graduation day, he had to hide his hand under his gown. The joy he felt made him think, my hands start to wiggle and my feet. You know it. Good. Good job. Then a new lost boy arrived whose name was Sebastian. Sebastian hoped that someday, when he too graduated, he could build schools in the Sudan. He admired Salva. They both dreamed for the children left behind and talked about helping them together in the future. Salva now had the skills to get a good job. He thanked his friends and adopted families for all their help. He truly had a loving home in the United States, but like Sebastian, his heart was in the Sudan, where people were sick and starving. His friends gave him a graduation party. They said, as if they were reading his mind, "It's okay, Salva. We know you want to follow your dream. Go to the Sudan. The fighting is over. We will help you to help the Sudan get water." Salva studied about water. He found out that under the ground in the Sudan, there is a huge lake called an aquifer. How can I get the water out, he thought. He found an East African company that drills wells. Each well cost $8,000 to drill. Churches, synagogues, schools, and individuals raised money for Salva's wells. Soon, money grew in the bank. All over America, people began to help. Finally, he had enough money to build 4 wells. He packed his suitcase for the journey home. As he left for the airport, many people were there to see him off. Deep in his heart, he had another reason to be very happy. He had good news about some of his family. They would meet again in the Sudan. For so many years, he had hoped. Now, more dreams were coming true. After the plane landed, he was taken to see his father. They cried and held each other. His mother and sister had not been seen in many years. Then Salva saw that his father was sick. The disease had come from polluted water. He knew once again that he could do something that would help save the lives of many people. He would bring clean water to the bomas of his homeland. When Salva arrived in the first village, everyone was excited and ready to help. Each person, young and old, could feel the change and wanted to take part. The drill dug a deep hole for the long pipe that would go down to the aquifer. Villagers cleared away rocks and dirt. They knew they were building a community. All would share in the good fortune to come. Finally, the first well was finished. Everyone was happy. Children cheered. No longer would they walk 8 hours a day with heavy water jugs on their heads. The youngest child was picked to be the first person to drink from the pump. Looking from one child to another, Salva said, "This was my dream. Now you can spend your time learning." The number of wells in southern Sudan is growing and growing. Now there are many villages where children are not carrying water all day. They sit under trees to learn and wait patiently for schools to be built. These are known as under-the-tree schools. Back in America, Sebastian is raising money to build a real school building. Now, between the bomas near the first well, there stands a building with classrooms. And as the boys and girls pass the well on their way to school, they feel their hands start to wiggle, their feet start to jiggle. Surrounding each well is a circle of concrete. The names of the people or groups who gave money for the well are written in the concrete for all to see. Every day, Salva and Sebastian give thanks. Asante Sana. Asante Sana for being alive. Asante Sana for their educations. Asante Sana for being able to bring water and schools to South Sudan so children can be healthy and have the opportunity to learn. Asante Sana for the many people who are raising money to give the gifts of life and hope. And here are Salva and Sebastian to remind you.
My life has changed. And always what I say is that my life has changed because when I came to the United States and had an opportunity to go to school, I did not let it go. I took advantage of it, and now I have a job, I have a car, and I have a nice place that I live in. And the reason that I can afford that is because I went to school. So what I could say is there is nothing that will open the doors in this world except if you have an education. Thank you.
What I would say to children is that you are blessed to be part of this community. Keep going to school. This is your future. This is the future of America. When you finish high school and college, come to Mathon and I. We will take you to Manabun Village and go and see what's happening in Africa. But should you not go to school, we will not. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining me today. When you're facing a difficult day, remember then the courage of the lost boys and that there is always hope. Goodbye.